Hi, Jason here. This is the third video in my series of Malifaux videos, and in this video I'm gonna probably just go over a stats card. So that's the stats for an individual model, and we'll explain all the different parts of that, and how everything works as far as that's concerned. This video is probably going to be a little bit shorter, just because I'm planning on using mainly graphical images, and that's going to take longer for me to edit. So it's probably going to take me about as long, if not longer, than all the other videos. Anyway, let's have a look at a stats card. So this is the front of a typical stats card. There's a lot of stuff here, and I'm aiming to make these videos relatively short, so I'm not going to go into too much detail on each individual thing. Most of these will be explained in more detail when they come up later on in future videos. On the left-hand side of the card, we see a picture of the actual model, the name of the model, an icon indicating the faction this model belongs to, in this case it's the Resurrectionists, and their cost. On some cards there will also be an indicator showing whether the model has any hiring restriction, and for Masters the cost will actually be replaced with their Soulstone cache. Moving on to the right hand side, we again have the model's name and cost, along with any types or characteristics the model has. In this case, the model has the Undead characteristic. Below that, we have the model's stat block. Starting from the top left, we have the model's walk and charge rating, which gives the number of inches the model can move when walking or charging, respectively. The model's height, which can affect line of sight. The model's willpower, which represents the model's will and determination. The casting, which is the model's ability to cast spells. Defense, which helps the model avoid physical attacks. And wounds, the amount of damage that the model can take before it is actually killed. Taking a quick look at this model, we can see that it isn't particularly fast when moving. It's of average height, and overall its other stats are pretty, well, average. On some models, one or more of these numbers will also include a symbol that corresponds to a Fate Deck suit, meaning that any checks that the model makes with that stat automatically has that suit. And more on that in the Fate Deck video. Next up is the weapons section. Now, this model only has a single weapon, a katana, but others may have two. At the top, we see the weapon's range in inches, which also shows either a set of claw marks, which indicates a melee weapon, or a pistol, which indicates a ranged weapon. Below that is the model's combat value when using that weapon, which again may include a suit symbol, and then its damage. The damage is split into weak, moderate, and severe values. Finally, we have the talents section, which is further subdivided into abilities, actions, triggers, weapons, and spells. And these are further expanded on the back of the card. Abilities are essentially passive effects that always affect the model. For example, this model has the Hard to Wound 1 ability, which makes it harder to wound. Actions are a list of special actions that the model may take during its activation. This model has the 2 Flurry action, which allows it to spend 2 action points and a command card to make 3 melee attacks. Triggers are special effects that can be triggered when a duel involving the listed stat has the suit shown. This model has a trigger that activates when it is using its combat stat and the duel has 2 crows. In this case, one of the crow symbols is slightly grayed out to indicate that this suit is supplied by the stat itself. The weapons section lists any special rules that applies to the model's weapons. In this case, there is no weapons section because the model's katana have no special rules. Finally, the spells section lists the spells that the model can cast. Each spell will list its casting requirements and its effects. These will be examined in greater detail in the spells video.